It's funny. I just got out of Coach Randy's office. We were talking about some things, and that came up. And I mean, obviously, when you do the RPO game, the run pass option, the ball's going to have to come out quick because it's a run kind of play, and so you've got to get the ball out quick. Sometimes the blocking is not there, and sometimes when you're throwing a lot of the underneath stuff and quick routes, the ball has got to come out of your hands quick, and it's going to obviously be a lower pass. And I think Coach Tomlin says all the time, if you're not going to get home, get your hands up. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot from defenders when they're think they're not going to get home or they think the ball's coming out quick. They're just getting their hands up, and that's creating some tipped balls. But we're not too alarmed with it yet.
Jerry Dulac?
Ben, good morning. A little two-part question for you. One, were you surprised in a game in which you never trailed and even led by 20 that you threw the ball 49 times? And in regards to the quick passing game, is there an art to it, and have you taken it to another level?
Well, good morning, Jerry. Thank you for the two-part question.
Sure.
It's very tricky early in the morning to have two-part questions, but I'll try and do my best. We don't go into a game saying, how many times we're going to throw it, trying to keep it under a certain number or get to a certain number or runs. Kind of, is dictated by the defense and how the flow of the game is. Obviously, we knew coming into the game that we wanted to come out and throw the ball and possess it. And, we had our top 10, as you know. And so we knew going into it what we wanted to do. And I think the game kind of just dictated. It doesn't matter how many points you're up. You want to do what the defense gives you and, the way that things are dictated. So the number of passes shouldn't really matter. And as it comes to quick game, I think that's kind of always I've always tried to be really good at it. I think it's having big hands helps, because you can't always grab the laces. I think one of the most underrated things that people probably won't talk about is to be good in the quick game, you have to have a good snap. And so with Pouncey, he snaps a spiral. You can catch it. You don't need the laces, but you're going to catch a good snap, and the ball can come out quick. I think that's very underrated when it comes to the quick game.
Mike Pursuta.
Another two-parter for you, Ben, since you handled that one so well. When you face a team that's putting 10 or so guys across the line and they're blitzing from everywhere, what are you most concerned about in that situation, and what is most exploitable?
Yeah, that's another thing we're talking about. This is a defense that brings guys from everywhere. They'll show that all up. They'll drop. They'll show all up from the left, make you slide your protection that way, and then they'll drop and they'll bring guys from the right. So it's going to be one of those games where we're going to have to be able to keep everybody in at times. And just because you're keeping everybody in still doesn't mean you have all day to throw it. The ball still has to get out of your hand in a timely manner. So it's not an easy thing to do. Sometimes you have to get lucky. You've got to, have the right protection called even into a blitz. Sometimes you can pick it up. You get the ball out of your hands, and it's one-on-one on the outside with no help. And we like those matchups too because we've got some slippery guys at receiver that can make guys miss. And every once in a while you take that shot over the top knowing that there might not be safety back there. So there's some things you can try and exploit. The key is always to protect long enough to do that.
Joe Rudder?
Could you guys, maybe not saying you're going to throw it as many times, but try the same tactic against Baltimore where you want to possess the ball and keep Jackson off the field as much as possible?
I mean, when you've got an offense as good as Baltimore's with a player as dynamic as him and kind of a lot of guys on offense, you have to try and keep them on the sideline. We were able to do that early in the game last week. And so we'll have to do everything we can because this is a good football team, one of the best in the league.
Didi Kinkabala? Mark Caboli?
Hey, Ben, one-part question here. With the secondary, they have obviously a couple all-pros. How important is it for the receivers to do what they do? And is this their biggest challenge to date?
I mean, arguably, I think there was an article this morning or yesterday at some point talking about the best tandems in the league. And these guys were at the top of the list. And Jimmy Smith, I don't even think was considered in that the tandem if that's the third guy. And so just some really good football players. ball hawks, guys that know how to play it, that can strip it. There's just a lot of challenges facing us this week in the pass game. And that's also saying that you have time to just sit and throw it. Our guys are going to all have to be involved. That's going to be the key, I think, is we're going to have to try and find the best matchup and just kind of see where it goes from there. And I'm going to have to be smart, make good decisions, and our guys are going to have to run good routes in order to have a chance.
Jeff Hathorn.
Morning, Ben.
Morning.
How would you define this rivalry?
Well, it's tough. It's a physical one. It can be nasty at times. But I've always felt as many times as my nose has been broke, we've had injuries. It's been a close game. It's always been football in its truest form in the sense that it's never dirty. It's never been nasty. It's just been hard-nosed football. And so this is one you always want your bye week to be after.
Brooke Pryor.
Hey, Ben, how close are you guys to playing a complete game for the offense to be as good as you guys think it can be, especially after it seems like you guys have built week after week. Titans first half especially looked really good. How close are you to playing a complete game?
Yeah, I think we have a long way to go. We're still trying to improve every week, and it starts with me. I have to get better, and I'll keep trying to do that. But it's not going to be any easier this week because facing one of the best defenses in the game.
Will Graves.
Hey, Ben, yesterday Mike T talked about being in the, quote, the game of the week for the third straight week. But, look, you two teams have sort of shown to be maybe the best in the division. Does this have a different vibe than maybe the last couple just because of the history? And does it sort of feel maybe sort of proper that you guys are seeing each other now maybe at the top of your games?
Well, I think this is what, football fans want. It's what the NFL wants. I didn't get to play them last year. And I miss this as much as this game hurts in terms of physically at the end of the day. You miss this rivalry because it is fun. Like I said, it's football in its purest form, and so it should be a good matchup. We'll have our hands full.
Jenna Harner.
Ben, there's a lot of focus on the defense in these matchups. Cam kind of just told us that, defense is usually going to win this game. You touched on a couple things, but as an offense, what's your guys' biggest focus this week so that you guys are the ones winning the game?
Well, there's no offense wins or defense wins. The team wins. And that's what's important about this team is that we do it together, all three phases. Offensively, we can't turn it over. That starts with me, and we got to score points.
Chris Adamski.
Ben, with the RPOs and with the emphasis or your result, if you get the ball out quicker, do you have the option? Are there always receivers that are running deeper routes and the defense is giving you the underneath stuff, or is it more of an emphasis by you to keep underneath, or is it the offense not even really designed on many, not all the time, but on a lot of plays, situations, not to have receivers go too deep?
No, just every play is different. Some plays we have guys going deep, some plays we don't. Sometimes the defense has guys deep, and sometimes they don't.
Ray Fittipaldo. Adam Kilgore.
Ben, good morning.
Good morning.
You guys in the past few seasons have had quite a few sort of adverse or odd circumstances to get through, any one of which, maybe could have thrown some franchises off course. Here you guys are 6-0. What is it about this franchise or your approach or Mike's approach that has allowed you to sort of be where you are now?
I think we always just stick together. We always talk about no matter how a game unfolds, we always do it together.